Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Medieval Knights, the channel that brings you the best in daily Let's Plays, tips, and trick videos and streams. I am TJ West, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit those like buttons and subscribe to follow my channel. Today on What the Flax, we're going to be talking tools. Now, when you first spawn into the game, you are given basically clothes and a little bit of food to survive on, and that's about it. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to harvest branches like this, maple branches. There are also birch branches, which are kind of white like that. And then there's like pine tree looking ones that are the spruce branches. They're just tiny little pine tree looking things. Christmas trees almost. And so you're going to want to harvest some of those, and you're going to want to pick up some stones as well so you can make some of the first tools you're going to need to survive. And you do that by collecting the resources on the ground. And most of the stones and the sticks will be on the ground. The branches just offer you between 2 and 3 sticks every time you collect them. And it also helps add skill points to your survival skill. So all of this is going to be kind of a grinding up some of your skills, but at the same time it's going to help you craft some of these things. So what you're going to want to do is, using your keyboard, push Q to bring up this menu. And now from this menu you're going to want to go into crafting. Now crafting is going to bring up this wheel here. And without having the tavern unlocked and without being able to build it, you're going to be able to craft some simple tools like the stone axe here, the wooden building hammer, a stone skinning knife, a wooden spear, a simple torch, firewood, wooden hoe, and a simple bag. Now, what are these for? Well, the stone axe is pretty self-explanatory. It can be used as a weapon, or you can use it to help chop down some trees. What do you need trees for in survival? Well, up here, this wooden spear takes 1 log. The way you get a log is by cutting down a tree, and then chopping it up into said logs. So right now I have 4 on me. I'm going to push the R button, and then I'm going to use D to increase it to 2 so I can craft 2 wooden spears for you here. And then I'm going to hit F to accept it, and that's F on my keyboard. You can use the mouse and click them, it's okay. I just find it easier to use my keyboard. So now from here, I've crafted it. Now what? Should be equipped, right? Well, no. The spears do not equip themselves. The stone axe, once you craft it, if you don't have one in your quick save slot already, and you don't have one in your inventory, you're just crafting a new one, it will automatically set itself into a slot, but the wooden spears will not. So we're going to set that at 2. We're going to set the stone axe at 3, and I did go to Hornica and buy a crossbow on this file. It was one of the first things I did. I do recommend doing that, but they cost like between 700 or 900 gold. So it would be wise to find a way to earn some gold first and then head over there and grab it. So to start with, the spear is a very effective weapon to use, and I'll show you how to use those as well. So right now we're on the axe. So let me use my mouse wheel and scroll down to the axe. The axe can be used as a weapon by just left clicking and it'll swing it. Or if you want to chop down a tree, you just walk up within range of the tree. So if I try here, I'm not going to hit anything. But as I move closer, I start taking down the durability of the tree. So it's at 60, 40, 20. Now the tree is felled. Now it is down. Okay, from here, I can't just pick up logs from here. I actually have to process the tree. Everything in the game, the raw materials are going to need processed. So there's 1 hit, and as you can see, I got 10 sticks from that. And now I need to hit it again. So I'm going to click the left control button down to crouch, and then I'm going to click the left button, the left mouse button. And then I'm going to pick up the logs. Okay, well, we're going to leave those because I don't want to be over encumbered for this. And so that's a little how to use the axe. Now, the next tool we're going to get into is the hammer. The hammer is a little bit trickier. After you've actually spoken to Unigos for the first time and gone and started building your village wherever you decided to build it at, is where the hammer comes into play. Now, with the hammer, if you right-click, it brings up this menu option here, this wheel. So the options of this wheel are building, which is the default setting for the hammer. When you craft one, that's the setting it should be on when you equip it into your quick slots. Repair is something that you will use to help repair your buildings in your village. As time and the elements take their toll on the buildings, they will need to be repaired. Upgrade helps upgrade your houses, and what this basically does is it allows your villagers to use less wood in the wintertime. It's going to keep their house warm. It's going to keep them from breaking down as much. You won't need to repair as much. So it's a good thing to upgrade the walls as well. Stone walls do require limestone, as it says in the bottom there, and wattle, and wooden walls require daub. Now, downgrade, I don't see why you would need this unless you needed to downgrade walls before you destroy them in an upgraded house, possibly. But really, maybe you just don't like one of your villagers and you just want to make them mad, so you downgrade their walls. That's the option you're looking for there. And then destroy. If you want to move a building, you will need to destroy it. And just like the build option here, you place the foundation with the build option, and then you have to build each individual wall section and ceiling section and individual walls inside the building. Well, the same thing with the destroy. You will need to go through and destroy each individual section until you get down to the foundation, the framework, and then from there you can destroy the building. Now, it is just clicking this and then swinging at the walls, or swinging at the roof tiles, or swinging at the foundation. But again, the range is required. The hammer has a lot less range as everything else, so you kind of have to get real close to it. So be mindful of that as you go. So that's a little bit on the hammer. Now, the spear we are going to go over as well. That's in slot 2, so I'm going to scroll up. Once you've crafted the spear, there are 2 attacks you can have with it. Once it's crafted and equipped to your quick slots, you can either left click and jab at something. So let's say you're running after a deer and you just want to try to stab it. But I will say that spear's durability is damaged more by doing that. It seems like just the melee aspect you run into a percentage of instantly breaking. Now, the other attack with the spear is actually using the right click, clicking it down and holding it on the mouse will pull up this, and then you can use the left click once you get the reticle on your target and throw the spear. Now, the range is a little bit different than with the bows and whatnot. Like, you're not going to get as far of a throw. That was a pretty good throw right there. But then again, it's going to drop as well, and it just might not be as accurate when you actually have an animal that's kind of moving its head around in front of you. Now, I did go buy a crossbow. You can craft these, but that's in later games, so we will go over those later. So that's the spear, axe, and building hammer. Let's see. So in the crafting, you have stone skinning knife. I will go ahead and craft one of those. This is not something you will necessarily need to equip to your quick slots. I already had one, but that's okay. So I am going to equip it here. That's what it looks like. It has a very short range. I wouldn't recommend trying to use it as a weapon. It is basically just to keep in your inventory for once you have an animal down, you can skin the animal for its meat and its fur and leather. So that's the stone skinning knife. We're just going to briefly go over that one. Okay, let's see. The torch here is useful in the winter time. I'm going to click... Oh, I already have one equipped, a better one. But the simple torch is something you can make out of reeds and I believe a stick or sticks. And they're very useful in the wintertime because as you can see here, they are on fire basically. So they will keep you warm in the wintertime if you haven't gotten the fur clothing from the main storyline quest. Now, within the first 1 to 2 chapters, you do get fur clothing in the main storyline quest, so be mindful of that. Keep checking your inventory, and if it gets wintertime and you find your characters cold, check and see if you have them still, and equip them if you do. And then what you need to do is just pull out a torch, and that'll help you warm you back up, and then you can put the torch away, and you should stay warm. Now, if you don't have fur clothes on you, you can use the torch to keep you warm around, but you might want to find a fire. If you can find a campfire you can light and stay near or even stand on top of, that would be great. Or inside of your house, you can light the fire in your house by pushing and holding E to light it. you can light the fire in your house to keep your whole house warm, and then you don't necessarily have to be stuck by your campfire the whole time. So that's the torch. The torch is very useful. The torch that I have equipped now is the later torch. You still do get to craft it very early on, but you need the workshop to craft it. It takes leather and sticks, I believe. I could be wrong, and that could be a log. So at any rate, we're going to move on from there. The water skin you can find in the main storyline quest off the side road. We will go over that in my Let's Play. It's basically just you keep it full from a water source, and then it has 4 drinks that you can take out of it. And that's just basically an emergency situation to keep you alive until you can get to more water. Let's see. I'm going to go into the crafting menu here. Let's see. So we went over the spear, we went over the knife, the hammer, the axe. Firewood is something your people will end up crafting in the end for you. You don't necessarily need to craft a lot of it, but early on, 1 log equals 4 firewood. That's great to put in your resource storage. It's going to make your villagers a lot warmer for longer, because instead of burning 1 log, they're burning 4 firewood instead. Okay, the wooden hoe is for plowing land and creating a field. And basically it takes 1 log and 10 sticks. You're going to go into building, farming, and then field, and it'll bring up this. And now you can place the field by left clicking and then dragging it out. And in the middle there is a field with numbers. Right now it is 7 by 3. Well, that is the size of the current field I have selected. If I left click again, it'll place that field like so. Now if I craft a hoe, I will need to hoe this land here in order to add fertilizer, and then I will need to hoe it again so that way I can plant my crops. Now you need the wooden hoe, and you also need a simple bag or a bag in order to plant things. So I can't quite go over the farming in depth here, and we're kind of out of time. So I will just go over crafting the wooden hoe and its use, and it basically is just used for plowing the field that you have selected out. So that's the wooden hoe. Now the simple bag is used for placing manure on said plowed field or unplowed field here. So to plow it, you add the manure and then you use the hoe over it again to plow it up. And then you would use the bag and right click and then select what seed you wanted to plant and then plant it. And we will go over all that in the farming how-to on What the Flax. So this has been another episode of What the Flax, brought to you by Medieval Knights. I would like to thank you all for joining me today. Again, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, hit those like and subscribe buttons and ring that bell to be notified of new updates. I am TJ West. Thanks again, and let's keep it medieval, people.